Alright, let's talk about something that most people are, frankly, a little scared to touch: the BIOS. It's that screen that flashes for a second when you turn on your computer, usually asking you to press Delete or F2. You probably ignore it, right? You just want to get into Windows and fire up your favorite game. But here's the thing. That screen is the gateway to your PC's secret command center. It's where the foundational rules for all your hardware are set. Think of it like the engine control unit in your car. The factory settings are fine for daily driving, but if you want to get every last drop of performance on the track, you've got to get in there and do some tuning. It's where the real magic happens, before your operating system even gets a chance to load. Now, why should you, a gamer, care about this? Simple. Your expensive graphics card, your super fast processor, that fancy RAM you bought might not be running at their full potential. It's like buying a sports car and never taking it out of eco mode. The manufacturers ship these components with safe, conservative settings to ensure they work in every possible combination of parts. But you didn't build a gaming rig to be safe and conservative, did you? You built it to crush frame rates and get those sweet, sweet victory royales. By diving into the BIOS, you can unlock performance that you've already paid for, making your games run smoother, making your games run faster, and look even better. It's basically free performance just waiting for you. Don't worry, this isn't as scary as it sounds. We're not going to be doing anything that will make your PC explode, I promise. Well, probably. I'm just kidding. Modern motherboards have a ton of safety features built in, so it's actually pretty hard to permanently mess things up. The worst-case scenario is usually just having to reset the settings back to default, which is often as simple as popping out a small battery on the motherboard for a minute. You see that RAM you bought? The one that said 3200 megahertz, 3600 megahertz on the box? Well, I have some bad news for you. Out of the box, it's probably running at a much slower standard speed, like 2133 megahertz. This is a safety measure by motherboard manufacturers to ensure your PC posts successfully with any stick of RAM you plug into it. They prioritize compatibility over raw speed, which is sensible, but it means you're not getting the performance you actually paid a premium for. It's like putting regular fuel in a high-performance engine. It'll run, but not like it's supposed to. This is where XMP, Extreme Memory Profile, comes in. On AMD systems, it's usually called DOCP, Direct Overclock Profile. It's a pre-packaged overclocking profile from the RAM maker, a one-click setting that tells the motherboard the exact speeds, timings, and voltages to use. In BIOS, you'll usually find it on the main page or tweaker page. It's often a drop-down set to disabled or auto. Click it and select Profile 1. So what does this actually do for your gaming? A lot, actually. Faster RAM lets the CPU access data faster. That reduces bottlenecks, especially in large-scale strategy titles and open-world adventures with a lot of stuff happening on screen. You'll see improvements in your average frame rates, but more importantly, you'll see a big boost in your 1% lows. This means fewer annoying stutters and a much smoother, more consistent gameplay experience. You won't just see it in benchmarks, you'll feel it. Find the setting, then enable the profile, save settings, and exit. PC restarts. That's it. Your RAM is now running at its advertised speed. This is the most important BIOS setting for gamers. If you only do one thing from this guide, make it this one. Seriously, you are throwing away performance if you leave this disabled. Go check it right now. I'll wait. Okay, maybe finish the article first, but then go check it. Alright, you've got your RAM sorted. Now let's talk about the brain of your gaming operation, the CPU. Just like with your memory, your processor often has more to give than the default settings allow. Modern CPUs have features that let them automatically boost their clock speed. Clock speed, how fast the processor runs its cycles. Those boosts are often capped conservatively by the motherboard. You can go into the BIOS and give your CPU more room to stretch. Result, higher and more sustained clock speeds while gaming. This is light overclocking, much safer than old-school methods. You don't need liquid nitrogen or expert skills. Multi-core enhancement, Intel, Precision Boost Overdrive, AMD. These settings tell your CPU to ignore conservative boost limits and push for higher performance. Make sure your cooling can keep up. Enabling these can give an instant performance uplift across all cores. fantastic for modern multi-core games. It's like telling your star athlete to go all out for the whole game. Finding the setting varies by motherboard. Usually in CPU features or advanced frequency settings in the BIOS. Look for CPU ratio. Look for core performance boost, or the specific feature names like MCE or PBO. Sometimes it's a simple on-off toggle, or levels, auto, or levels, enabled, or levels, enhanced. Start with enabled. That applies a smart, pre-tested overclock designed for stability. A faster CPU processes game logic. A faster CPU processes artificial intelligence. A faster CPU processes physics calculations. That feeds your GPU more efficiently, which can lead to higher max frame rates and a more responsive feel, especially in fast-paced competitive shooters. Before you do this, make sure you have a decent aftermarket CPU cooler. These automated overclocking features are safe, but they generate more heat. If temps stay well below 90 degrees Celsius under load, you're in a great spot. Here's a feature that's a bit more recent, but can provide a fantastic, and again, free performance boost in many modern games. It's called resizable bar or resize bar. On AMD systems, it's marketed as Smart Access Memory, but it's the exact same underlying technology. In simple terms, your CPU and GPU are constantly talking to each other. Traditionally, your CPU could only access a very small 256 megabyte chunk of your graphics card's video memory at a time. It's like trying to read a massive book by looking at it through a tiny keyhole. It's slow and inefficient. Resizable bar changes that. It breaks down that old wall and allows your CPU to access the entire VRAM of your graphics card all at once. This creates a much wider, more efficient pipeline for data to flow between the two most important components for gaming. When the CPU needs to load a bunch of textures, shaders, other game assets into the GPU's memory, it can now do so in one large transfer instead of many small sequential ones. This can significantly speed up asset loading and reduce latency, which translates directly into better gaming performance. It's a no-brainer to enable if your hardware supports it. To use this feature, you need a relatively modern setup, typically an NVIDIA 30 series GPU or newer, or an AMD 6000 series GPU or newer paired with a compatible CPU and motherboard, like an AMD Ryzen 5000 series or Intel 10th Gen or newer. The setting is usually found in the PCI subsystem settings or advanced section of your BIOS. You'll likely see an option for resize bar support. You just have to set it to enabled or auto. You might also need to ensure another setting, above 4G decoding, is also enabled, as resize bar often depends on it. The performance uplift from resizable bar can vary quite a bit from game to game. Some titles might see a massive 10 to 15% increase in frame rates, while others might only see a couple of percent. However, it almost never results in a performance loss, so there's really no downside to turning it on. Games that frequently stream large amounts of assets, like big open-world titles, tend to benefit the most, since it's a simple toggle switch that unlocks a more efficient way for your hardware to communicate. It's absolutely worth enabling. Check your motherboard and GPU manufacturers' websites to confirm compatibility. Then dive into your BIOS and flip that switch. Our final tip isn't about boosting your in-game frame rates, but it's a quality-of-life improvement that will make your whole PC experience feel snappier. We're talking about your boot priority. When you turn on your computer, the BIOS has a checklist of devices to look for an operating system on. It might check your USB ports first. It might check a network drive. It might check an old hard drive. And finally, it might check the superfast NVMe SSD, where your Windows is actually installed. This process can add several seconds, sometimes even longer, to your startup time. It's a small thing, but those seconds add up. By setting your boot priority correctly, you can tell your PC to look directly at the right drive first, every single time. This shaves precious seconds off your boot time, getting you to your desktop and into your games faster. In your BIOS, there will be a section called Boot or Boot Priority. Inside, you'll see a list of all the storage devices connected to your system. Identify the drive that has your operating system installed. Move that drive to the very top of the list. It's usually as simple as dragging and dropping or using the plus and minus keys to change the order. You want your primary boot device to be your main SSD. It will likely be labeled with its model name, such as Samsung 980 Pro or WD Black SN 850X. Make sure this is listed as boot option number 1. This tells the motherboard not to waste time checking any other drives. Just go straight to the source. It speeds up the boot process and can prevent issues where your PC tries to boot from a USB drive you accidentally left plugged in. That can lead to error messages and confusion. It's a simple cleanup task that makes your system more efficient. After you've set your main drive as the top priority, save your settings and exit the BIOS. You should notice your PC reaches the Windows loading screen faster than before. It's a satisfying and easy win.